five secrets to five summer strategies to stay in shape while on vacation. This is the perfect time for it because this is where a lot of people are going away on vacation, are going to quick getaways, or maybe a longer trip, just like myself. Next week, I will be going to Europe for 2 weeks, and I will be experiencing a different scenario for me because I've never been to Europe. I've never been to that kind of trip. I've always been the girl that goes to all-inclusive resorts and just do nothing all day and that's it. So it'll be interesting, but I'm going to share everything with you guys, everything that I do. And some of the things that I'm going to share here, I do utilize when I travel, and it works for me. It works for my clients when you guys ask for my advice on what to do. And some of them are also in the group chat in the app, eating out and traveling. So a lot of those things are there, but I'm going to share some of the behind the scenes of the things that I do. So first things first, what is a vacation for? What's the intention? The vacation is for enjoying yourself and having a freaking good time, right? That's the intention. So you're not going to go on vacation to feel stressed out and to feel that you have to be on point with every single thing. And this is not my intention whatsoever. So vacation should be to enjoy, to relax, to lower your stress levels, not to become another stressor in your life. But another question to ask yourself, and that can help dictate the approach that you want to take on your vacation and what you want to do, is how do you want to feel when you come back? What kind of outcome are you looking for when you get back from your vacation? And which phase of the journey are you right now? Do you still have a few pounds that you want to lose? Are you currently in a deficit? Are you currently on a reverse diet plan? Are you cruising around maintenance? Are you in a build? Are you intuitive eating? Are you just getting started? Are you very, very, very unhappy with how your body looks right now and you're working towards changing that? So that's really important. That's the first thing that you want to do, is to have before setting the strategy and before just doing things for the sake of doing things, have a clear vision of the goal that you want to have, like the vision for yourself when you come back from this trip and where you are right now. Is it realistic? Okay. Is it realistic what you want at the end of the trip and how the trip is going to go based on where you are right now? Is it realistic to do what you want to do? Right? That's the first thing. And here is another question, right? So you ask questions, you ask different questions, you get different answers, you get better answers. How do you want to approach this? How do you want to approach this trip? When you get back, how do you want to think back? And how do you want to have felt? Proud of yourself, regret, or feeling like you enjoyed every single moment and it was well worth it? Those 5 extra pounds or whatever the case may be. What do you want to have experienced during the trip? How do you want to feel when you get back? That's the most important question, because that will dictate the type of trip that you want to take. Because success during vacation it can be different depending on where you are in your journey and depending on what you value the most. So if I had that same trip to Europe while prepping for a competition, first off, I probably would not book a trip while on contest prep. But let's say that I did. I would go with a clear understanding and a very, very set expectation that I would not be fucking around. I would have to stick to my plan because I had a show, right? I have a show going on. I have something that it's bigger, that it's more important. And 2 weeks eating and drinking whatever would derail and take me out of that route, of that main goal, right? So there are seasons and I would have to be okay with that. So that's the strategy that I use for myself too. I always try to not overcomplicate things or add drama to where there isn't any. So if my goal is to lose fat and I have to choose to not drink alcohol, to not eat out, to limit myself, then I'm going to do that because I know that I have a bigger goal at the end and it's not going to be forever. So the strategy that you use in one trip, in one vacation, is not going to be the same that you're going to use for every single time that you go away, because there's different seasons in life. So the way that I approached my trip to Nashville, for example, which I was already prepping for the photo shoot, and the trip to Winnipeg that I was already prepping for the photo shoot as well, the way that I approached those two trips might not be the same way that I approach Europe, because I'm no longer prepping for a show. However, I just lost weight. I just lost fat. I'm leaner than before. So my body is now at the perfect position to store a lot of body fat. So I cannot go to Europe and think that I can eat the whole entire Italy and not put on fat, because that's unrealistic, right? But still, I'm going to be at another phase of the journey. I'm going to be reverse dieting. I'm going to be at a different point in my journey. So I accept the trade-offs. I accept the phase that I'm in, right? So if you are in a cut and you go to the trip with the intention to stay in a cut and you want to strictly follow the same plan that you were following back home, fair. If you think that it is realistic for you, for the type of trip that you're going for, sure, do that. But in most cases, that's not realistic. So don't think that you'll be able to stay in a cut while traveling and while enjoying every single thing, because that's probably not going to be the case. Okay, so maybe it's a good idea to implement a reverse diet so we can increase your calories, maybe a diet break so we can increase your calories for that week strategically, or maybe a quick refeed, or even some strategies to try to stay as close to your calorie deficit as possible by doing high protein breakfast and protein fasting during the day. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But always have that in mind, where you are in your journey. What are you willing to trade off? Like, what are you accepting as, okay, this is just a phase and I'm okay with that. This is not forever, because it's usually not a forever thing. It's just our heads that gets messed up with that. And what kind of outcome do you want after the trip, right? Be realistic with that. Be realistic. And also have a plan to re-entry when you come back. So freezer some stuff, some of the food that you can eat right away when you get home. Check what time do you get back home when you're back from your trip. And see if you can freeze some meals, 1 or 2 meals, so you can quickly have something that are not going to be fast food or just junk food. Or even have a meal prep company service to deliver some meals for you. Have some sort of plan, because most of the times you're going to come back and you're not going to have groceries, right? So have a plan to when you're going to go grocery shopping. Have a plan, because that's going to make your life easier, and it's going to feel easier for you to get back into your normal routine. Okay. So speaking of planning, this is the number one thing here. The number one key element for you to stay in shape during a vacation is to plan ahead. So if planning ahead is important when you're home, planning ahead is even more important when you're traveling. So try to stay somewhere with access to a decent gym. So if you are working out in the gym right now and you like that and you like their routine, try to look for places that are going to have a gym nearby that you feel that you're going to have a good workout in, right? So some gyms in hotels, they just suck. Like you don't want to be in there. So it's not going to make it easier for you to train. But if you're in a location where you have a good access to a good gym, that maybe makes things a little even more exciting for you, because you're going to go to a nicer gym. But also, like when it comes to gym, I'm gonna get there. There are all sorts of strategies that we can use as well. Speaking of planning ahead, in all you can eat resorts, if you're going to an all you can eat resort, I know that it is tempting to just eat and drink all day. Like life is just all about that. And especially because people have that mindset that they've already paid, right? The food is already paid for. So eat as much as you can. You're not a garbage can. Your body is not a garbage can. So don't do that. And usually those types of foods, like they're not really worth it. So save up some of those calories for foods that you can, for meals that you can actually enjoy, like a nicer dinner, a nicer dinner at a nicer restaurant. Choose like a different cut of meat or fish, or something that you can actually enjoy and remember and have a good time, not just garbage sandwich that they're throwing around by the pool. So you're not going to be wasting your money if you don't eat everything, every single thing, because your body's just not a garbage can. Okay. And another thing too, like this is actually a pet peeve of mine. Why? And again, this is a pet peeve of mine. I don't understand why eating plain food, why eating airport food, why drinking champagne in the plane. Like, why? You're going to a super nice place, you're going on vacation, you're going to eat some good food, local food, you're going to maybe experience something different, and you choose to spend your calories on garbage food, because that's what it is. Like plain food is terrible, and they are high calories because they're high fat, and they're just not tasty. They're just not good for you. They're garbage. So that's my recommendation anyways, to don't waste your calories on things that are not going to be worth it, on foods that are not going to do anything for you. So airport foods and airplane foods, usually I skip it because it's just going to be a waste anyways. I'd rather wait until a nighttime meal. Also bring protein powder with you, and create some sort of structure to prioritize protein. Yes, you can bring protein powder in Ziploc bags with you in the plane, in your carry-on, or in your luggage, doesn't matter, but you can. So that can make things easier. Like, let's say that you're going to go away for 7 days, you can put 7 scoops of protein in a Ziploc bag, then put the scoop in, and then just scoop out each and every day, just so you can bank some of that protein that's going to be harder for you to get, because most delicious foods are rich in carbs and fats, not in protein. So save your calories and prioritize your meals, the meals that you truly want to enjoy. That's what I have to say. So drink tons of water during the day, prioritize protein, bring it with you, and leave the biggest and tastiest meals for the evening. And they're usually meals higher in carb and higher in fat. So that would be my recommendation. And then training. The second thing here, training. Focus on being active. Okay, so a lot of people have that mentality of the all or nothing, right? If I can't do the exact training that I'm supposed to do, then I won't do anything. And that's not really helpful. So you don't have to follow the exact training plan that's on your schedule. One, you can talk to me and I can change your training split to travel workouts. I have a bunch of bodyweight circuit trainings or workouts that you can do with just banding, resistance bands and stuff like that, with just body weight, 20 to 30 minutes. We can definitely adapt that, but as long as you're moving, okay? So include some sort of movement and be active. throughout your vacation. So play with your kids, swim, do sports, go on hikes, go walking, whatever floats your boat. But like, don't think that just because you can't do the exact training that you're doing here, that it's not going to be worth to even move your body or attempt to try to train. So also another concern that lots of you have is that you're going to lose your muscles if you don't train. And that's not really how it works for your muscles. For you to start losing muscle mass, or for muscle mass to start shrinking, it has to take like 7 to 10 days without training. That's when you start losing muscle. You're gonna lose a little bit of glycogen storage in the muscles, so you're gonna feel a little flatter. But that doesn't mean that you lost muscle. So as long as you're doing some sort of resistance training, like 2 to 3 days a week, full body splits, you should be good. It's enough stimulus to maintain the body mass that you have, and enough stimulus to help you justify eating a little bit more, maybe. So, and also another thing that I think of about training while on vacation is how you're going to feel after, right? How confident are you going to feel by the pool after a workout session? How much better you're going to feel when you're not bloated, when you're not lazy and feeling lethargic for overeating, right? So think about what you want to feel. And the more you do this, the more it starts to shift your identity, right? It starts to shift the way you look at things and the way you think. Because if you're never used to doing anything while on vacation, if you're if you used to be very sedentary or just like party person, and now you're switching into a healthier lifestyle, it might take a couple trips for you to really internalize what it is and how it feels. But once you do this, once you at least try and be open to trying, and don't see exercising as a chore that you have to do, but instead something that you get to do and makes you feel better, then it starts to shift, and you do that so automatic that it just becomes who you are. Now, when it comes to alcohol, my opinion about alcohol, and I'm not gonna, alcohol is not good for you at all. Okay, so alcohol is pretty bad in any way, shape, or form. Yes, I drink alcohol every 6 months. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I had a glass of wine, but that's usually my go-to drink: 1 glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine with dinner, and that's it. Or like when we're at a social event. But it's been over 6 months since the last glass of wine that I had. But alcohol, there's no way that you can position alcohol to be good for you. There's like literally zero benefits, and your body understands alcohol as a toxin. So it tries to eliminate that toxin as fast as possible. And when doing that, hold on, why is it this way? Just a second. Something happened. Why I can't move. Okay, there you go. So as I was saying, alcohol is not going to give you any benefits. Okay, the body understands alcohol as a toxin, so it will try to get rid of it as quick as possible. Please unmute yourself, mute yourself as soon as you come in, please. Thank you. So there's no way that you position alcohol that's going to be good for you. Okay, so it basically stops every other processes in the body, including the fat loss process, including muscle building process, to try to get rid of it. So alcohol is never good. But that all being said, if you want to drink and if you enjoy a drink or two, try to save it for the evening. Like if you're at a pool party or if you're in an all-inclusive resort or whatever the case may be, try to save it for the evening or for just one period of the day, and focus on clear spirits with diet mixers. So like vodka soda or like gin tonica or something like that with a lowest calorie. They're the lowest calorie options as opposed to beer, for example. Like beer is terrible. There's so many calories and it's going to bloat you. And well, you can choose whatever you want. I'm all about being flexible and having the freedom, but I also want to give you the information so you can make that decision in a more informed and educated way, right? So try to go for clear spirits, like 1 or 2 drinks or 2 or 3 drinks, limit yourself somehow. And if you're drinking like a diet soda, vodka soda, do that with a diet, like a diet soda, not with the sugary one. So you're going to save up some calories there, and drink water in between as well to stay hydrated. And like I said before, champagne on the plane, why? Just save up your calories until you get to the destination and you can drink your champagne at a nicer restaurant. But that's just me and my pet peeve. For some reason, there you go. Why is it not? There you go. It's better this way. Don't let one quote unquote bad day turn into a whole week, right? Because some people will, fuck it up at night. And then the other day they wake up feeling like crap. And that turns into a snowball effect of feeling like crap, eating more crappy food, and then drinking more, and then not hydrating. And then they're like, oh, you know what? Screw it. Just I'll deal with this when I get back home. And it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that way. You always have a choice. You're always one decision away from making a better choice, from getting back on track. So if you overdid it one night, the next day, just get back at it. Start your day the same way that you would had you not screw up that night. Start your day normally, drink your water, go for a walk, do your training session, whatever you want to do, and move on. Just go back to your normal routine. Okay. Next, number 4, nutrition. So that's probably the hardest part for most people. And of course, when you're on holidays, on vacation, you want to enjoy yourself, right? And I want you to enjoy yourself. I don't want anyone bringing food containers and kitchen scale unless you're on that stage of your transformation that requires that. But for most people, for most of you, that's not going to be required at all. And I don't want that for you. So that all being said, I want you to enjoy yourself, but I also would highly recommend trying to avoid any major treats during the day and save it for the evening meals, unless you don't have anything planned for dinner, right? You're not going to do anything at night, which is rare. But unless you're not going to do anything at night and you want to prioritize a nice lunch, I would rather you focusing on saving those major treats, quote unquote, for the evening. Okay. Because usually when you start your day with Nutella pancake for breakfast, for example, the day's not going to go well. That will just trigger a snowball effect into more and more crappy food. More and more foods that are not going to be aligned with your goals of very high calories, and you're not going to hit your protein because then you're going to be stuffed with Nutella pancakes. So try to prioritize, try to save up your calories for the evening, or if you want to prioritize breakfast one day, do that one day, and then the rest of the day focus on lean protein, right? One thing that you can also do for breakfast, if you have a buffet style available to you, is the one plate rule. So it's a simple way to portion control. So basically you're going to eat anything you want, whatever it fits on one plate, and you're not going to go for seconds. That's it. If you do that for all 3 meals, you're good. You're good. But especially in buffet style, where you have a lot of options to choose from and you can go for seconds and thirds, try to limit yourself to one plate, just one plate rule. And you'll feel, and prioritize protein, of course, because you're going to feel satisfied, you're going to feel good, and save majority of the calories for the evening. All right. And also, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll answer them at the end. Okay. Supplements is the 5th. So like I said, most people think that they can't bring supplements with them in the plane, or that they have to completely go out of their routine when they're on vacation. And it's actually the opposite. The more you stick to a certain structure, to a certain routine, the more flexibility you're going to have, the more freedom you're going to have, because you are in control. And as far as supplements go, if you are taking health supplements, I would recommend you take with you. You can definitely bring them in the plane, and with protein powder, just like I did for Winnipeg and for, did I do that for Nashville? I don't think so, because in Nashville I bought it there. No, I did that for Nashville. So yes, put it like how many days you're going to be away. Grab a Ziploc bag and just scoop in the number of days. So if you take like 1 scoop a day, just put like seven scoops or 14 scoops, or however many days you're gonna be away, and then at the destination you just scoop out, like bring the protein powder scoop with you in the bag, so you can take it out, and at least you have some protein there. So bare minimum, you start your day with a protein coffee, let's say, right? You mix it all together and you drink it in your coffee, or at least you're going to have 30 grams of protein right there in there with you, because most of the delicious foods are rich in carbs and fats and are very, very poor in protein. And the more protein you focus on, the more protein you eat, the more satisfied you're going to feel, right? So even if you go for those high carb, high fat foods, you're not going to overdo it, because you're going to be feeling more satisfied because of the protein. So bring protein powder with you. That's always a good idea, because like I said, if anything goes wrong, you bring your shaker and you drink a protein shake, or you put the protein in your coffee, or you go to a convenience store and you buy some oats and you make an oatmeal with protein. Whatever the case may be, it's very, very easy. Protein bars, it depends on the bar, okay? Because a lot of protein bars, they are sold as protein bars, but they're not really protein rich. They will have like 20 grams of fat and 15 grams of protein and 8 grams of carbs. That's a terrible macro ratio for a protein bar. That's not going to fill you up. The thing with protein bar is that they're so tiny that they don't fill you up. You eat in 2 seconds and they're gone. There's no fiber. So it's not really my favorite choice for adding protein. I would rather bringing my protein powder so I can mix it in my coffee and it's delicious than to eat a protein bar, because most of the protein bars are not very high in protein. And they have a ton of fat that I would rather save for something that I think it's really delicious, right? So there are some protein bars though that are good, but again, it depends on the situation. I'm not against them. I like the Power Crunch bars. Where is it? Yeah, this one's. They are super delicious, super delicious. Where's the nutrition facts? 40 grams of protein, 5 grams of sugar. Okay, 14 grams of protein, but where is the fats? That's the problem, right? Because they're only mentioning the protein and the sugar. So it's probably high in fats, high to the point that it's not worth it, right? I would rather save that for a nicer meal, but it's an option. It's always an option. It's better than a piece of candy for sure, but be smart about it. Not just because it's a protein bar, it means that it's good for you. It means that it's a healthier options, or that's going to be a better option than something else. And yeah, they don't. Oh, here, nutritional info. 7 grams of fat. This is the same amount of fat that's in one egg. So I would rather have one egg with, oh no, it's 13 actually. 13 grams of fat. Heck no. At least for me, I don't think that's worth it. 13 grams of fat, 13 grams of protein. With 1 scoop of whey protein, you get close to 30 grams. It depends on the protein powder, but 1 scoop, usually between 25 to 30 grams of protein, and 0 fat and 0 carbs, right? And here on this protein powder, you're getting only 13 grams of protein and 13 grams of fat, which is quite a bit. And it's not going to fill you up. You're not going to feel full, right? So be smart about that, about choosing protein powders, because sometimes that can mislead a lot of people. So that's why you don't see me eating a lot of them, because I just don't think that 13 grams of fat for the bar is worth it. I would rather get it from whatever else that I'm craving. So I'm going to be in France. I'll probably choose to grab my fat from a nice croissant with butter than 13 grams of fat from a protein powder. Make sense? All right, supplements. And that's basically it, really. That's basically it. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to feel that you're proud of yourself at the end. I want you to feel in control. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel that the lifestyle that you've been building is worth it. Okay. But I also want to remind you, and I have to tell you this, if you have lost weight, if you have lost a lot of weight, your body is now primed. It is ready to pack on all that fat back again. That's how it works. And I can even make a presentation about the body weight set point and how fat cells, they multiply and they get bigger. And I can make a whole thing about this and explaining exactly how it works. But your body, after you lose weight, is primed to put it back on right away, and it'll put back on very, very quickly. That's why we have to be really, really careful about what we do once we've lost some weight, because what a lot of people will do, they lose a little bit of weight and then they go off the rails and pack on a lot of body fat again, and then they go back and try to lose that weight, but now their body is adapted to a higher set point, and that body fat is going to be harder for them to lose. So you got to be really careful. When you lose weight, that's the perfect time for us to reverse diet and slowly add calories back in, so your body don't accumulate that body fat. Okay, so if you've lost weight, if you're really lean, just be careful that your body is ready to pack on a lot of body fat. So don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. So calories while you're traveling, they still count. Unfortunately, they do. Okay, so just, you don't have to be obsessed about anything. Like I said before, don't add drama to where there isn't the need for it, because nothing is forever. But just understand how the processes work and be mindful of your choices. Be mindful of what you choose to eat and to drink and to choose to do, because that can hurt you in when you come back, right? So be mindful of your choice, understand what triggers you, what are the things that if you eat them, you can't stop. So don't have them around, and just follow the tips that I gave to you here, and the tips in the travel guide as well, especially the protein fasting, which is in the next slide here. Fasting is actually a great tool when traveling because especially when you fly, because flying messes up with your digestion a little bit with the altitude. So that's why you feel a little bloated and more, you retain more water and your digestion is kind of messed up. You don't go to the bathroom right away. So fasting can be a great tool for that. And also it helps you save some calories, right? It helps you save some calories for when you get to the destination. So when you fly, if possible, try to fast. Next, I'm going to fly in the evening next Wednesday. So I'm probably not going to be fasting, but I'll be protein fasting. So the whole day I'm going to eat only protein and of course veggies, because they're fiber sources. And that's what I'm going to do. And I actually have been doing this for a long time and it works wonders. It's very easy because you're never hungry. If you load up on protein and veggies, I mean, at least like 40 grams of protein to 50 grams of protein in a meal, plus all the veggies, you're going to feel full for hours, and you're saving up calories for carbs and fats, and you're helping your body maintain the muscle mass that you have. So that's what I would suggest for most of you to do. Just think about focusing on protein, veggies for the most part, and then you can enjoy a carb and fat meal later in the day. Enjoy yourself, have an amazing time, but also focus on coming back proud of yourself and the decisions that you made for your health while you're away. So it goes back full circle to what we were talking about in the beginning. How do you want to approach this? How do you want to feel when you come back? And what are your intentions? Which phase of the transformation are you right now? What are you willing to do? And how do you want to feel when you get back? What kind of experience do you want to feel? And that should guide your decisions when you are away. Okay, so that's basically it. Are there any questions for me? I'm going to be here for a couple of minutes more. Nothing. Perfect. Let me just double check on Facebook if there is any questions. All right, guys, so sounds good. Thank you so much for watching. The replay is going to be available in the app as well. I'll download and upload it in the app and in a Facebook group. So if you missed the beginning, you can go back and rewatch it. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.